Welcome, everybody. It is Security Happy Hour. It's Friday. You all made it. And guess what? You're at CyberWarriorStudios. It's your boy, CyberWarrior. And next to me, as always, well, as of lately, and probably always from here on out, I've got my wingman. I've got my partner in crime. I've got the founder of Raisis, Eric Bellardo. And down below, we have our special guest. He is the unicorn. He is all shenanigans. He is Bryson Bort.
Howdy, y'all.
Thank you for joining us, Bryson.
Yeah, welcome to be here, and get ready for some surprises throughout the evening.
Oh, I'm ready for surprises. I love surprises. So, saying that, we've got a big show ahead of us, but before we get started, I just like to say to anybody who has a drink, I don't care if it's alcoholic or not, cheers, salute. Have a great evening. Make sure you all enjoy your weekend after this show. Please watch the entire show. I promise it'll be great. So, Bryson, having you on is amazing because as the founder of Scyth.io, you know, you've been doing a lot of big things. You came from the Army. I believe it was the Army, if I read correctly. But you were a military officer, and you've done a lot of great things. So, what is it that got you into cybersecurity and got you to where you're at with Scyth.io, real quick?
Sure. Apparently, I need to correct my military service or just clarify it. So, as a kid, I was one of those kids who tore everything apart. Was in robotics. Thing that really changed my life was getting a graphing calculator in high school, because any class I was in, I would just program on it, and I would create all these really elaborate games. Like I created Street Fighter from scratch and role-playing games and Tetris, because I mean, it was better than listening to the teacher drone on. At West Point, I was actually the first Brigade Information Systems officer. So this is back in the 90s when, you know, what the fuck is cyber? But, you know, and then I got tricked into the Signal Corps. Actually, that was not what I would have done in hindsight. But in fact, when I got hurt when we were going back to Iraq, and I got MEB'd as a captain, I took the first job I was offered that had nothing to do with computers. And I told him in the interview, I was like, I don't know what that means. I have no clue what this stuff is. And they hired me anyway. And then, of course, I got back into it. But I think the big break I got was a few years later. I got recruited back into the intelligence community. And that's when I got into offensive cyber. And I'd already had sort of like all of the background around it, but that was my first chance to really get to learn and get exposed to the edge of what's possible.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And so getting out of the Army, because this is, like we said and like we discussed, because it's going to be an interesting set of topics today with what we have going on. So getting out of the Army and knowing offensive security, you already knew, especially for all of us who's ever been in the military and the retarded cyber awareness course you take over and over and over, and it does no good because it's a pointless course. Half of us knew how to get past even when they made it new and put I forget what his name is, but you know, made it fun and gamified it. We knew how to get past that whole thing and just go to the test and answer everything and go on. So being that cyber awareness is such a huge deal, and you've gone through it, Eric's gone through it, I've gone through it, so many others go through it on a regular basis. So before we get into how to deal with, you know, the company side and security champions, as far as cyber awareness goes, especially for Cyber Awareness Month, is there an issue in the current cyber awareness training?
Yes.
Elaborate.
Damn it, I thought I was going to get away with that.
Or do you want him to elaborate?
Oh, is that the comic relief? Come on, Eric, you have to do better than that.
Do better than that, yeah.
So let's. I think first of all, we have a problem in this industry where we think, yeah, you know, you can put anything in writing. You got to back it up with action. That also answered the question, but it also worked for Eric throwing that up there. So we think security is the purpose. Security is not the purpose, right? Security is there to assure mission, to assure service. We are a secondary thought if we're lucky, right? Sometimes we're even further, like 3 or 4 orders down.
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Hello there.
Hi, Trevor.
Who's
Welcome
Trevor?
to the show.
Thank you. What show is this? What did I walk into? I was just trying to go to the restroom.
This is the CyberWarriorStudios show.
Oh,
Didn't you used to be in government?
I used to support the government.
You did used to support the government. What did you do in the government, Trevor?
I was a contractor. My specialty is really everything under FISMA, so a lot of risk management, translating technical policy into architectural implementations, and introducing a lot of security automation and dealing with all ATOs.
How'd that go?
My stuff worked.
You hear that? The one part of government that worked.
Right, the one part, the only part.
What do you think of security awareness training?
Other than it's mandated in the
Oh,
government?
it's almost all mandated in the government, right? Annual training, same thing in the commercial sector. Like thou shalt get bored once a year.
Thou shalt get bored once a year. Thou shalt do annoying training once a year. So what do I think about it? I think 101 is necessary for anything in technology. So cybersecurity awareness training should definitely be a part of that, as well as something as simple as learning an organizational chart or going through onboarding. It should just be part of the process of how to achieve success in the organization as well as yourself. So help yourself by helping the business.
All right. Thanks, brother.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Awesome, Trevor. Have a good one. Man, you got special guests coming in I didn't even know about. What is this?
Special guest as a special guest.
There's more.
I love it. I love it. Hey, we got one right here. Hold on. Does Trevor have an at? Does he have a handle?
Aparima.
What was that again?
Aparima.
Aparima. All right.
So, the challenge is, first of all, you're a secondary concern at best, right? I always, whenever I give the almost all my presentations, it's kind of like, the classical officer perspective. Or NCO is more NCO, I suppose. Let's orient you to the map, and the map is, mission here, and security is, somewhere way over here. And that's the first piece, which is why we then try to bring awareness to it. But the problem is how do you do that, right? And the joke, the way I was phrasing it earlier, is 30 to 60 minutes of your year, I'm going to bore you to death with this is cyber, right? We have an entire month going on right now of cyber awareness. What's it going to change, really?
Nothing.
Nothing is going to change. And
it's bad.
What do we expect it to change, right? Or do we expect our users to truly be able to spot a fish at best? That's not going to happen. And even if the one that does, the one next to him is you're never going to get there. And anybody can fall for a fish. I know quite a bit about this, and I could fall for a fish. And so I think that, let's teach the basics of how to use a computer, but let's build a security system that depends on the fact that a user is inherently going to fail, and that's not their fault.
Yeah. And that's, I look at cyber awareness training, at least from the annual perspective, as pointless. Again, like Trevor said, make it part of the onboarding, your policies, procedures, AUP, and what not to do. But after that, it's kind of redundant and pointless. And the people that have been there for a year already know. And if they're gonna, not do what they're supposed to, they've been doing what they're not supposed to already. It's not gonna change.
Mm-hmm.
So to make it an annual requirement like they do in the DoD and everywhere else is just out of this world. The one thing I will say is one of the things that hurts for cyber awareness is I don't know why they feel gamifying training or the way they've tried to gamify it makes it any better. To me, nothing beats in person. And yes, it takes away from business and money, but so does somebody sitting through a gamified training trying to click through all the bullshit for, Lord knows how long it's going to take them to click through it all to get it done. So why not have someone in person that can actually explain why you don't do certain things or how to look for certain things? So for me, in-person training always is more of a benefit than, hey, sit at a computer for an hour or however long it's going to take you to get done with this. And so that's how I've always looked at it.
Well, I mean, if you can make it meaningful. So here's where I do think we should focus education. There are two kinds of organizations in the world. Leadership cares, leadership doesn't. Either leadership makes security a priority and effectively resources it, or they don't. No tool, no amount of you're the most awesome security engineer on the planet can overcome the weight of leadership not giving a shit about security. You just can't. So let's back that up now, right? Do we expect leadership? And there's an ageist quality to that those folks by definition tend to be a little bit older and maybe haven't been as steeped in this. We can't expect them to instantly understand all of these elements, nor should they. So we have to find a way to go to them, speak in their terms, right? Let's talk in terms of the mission, that organization. Let's talk their language and speak in that language, and those impacts help them understand how there is value to what you're trying to do and make it bite-sized, right? So that there's a starting point, not just, the world's on fire, we got to do all of these things. You know what? Pick a battle, right? Pick a place to start and convince them to get to that and then grow from there.
Yeah, I completely agree. And that's really what it is we have to be able to talk to leadership in such a way that gets the point across, whether that be talking money or, quantifying it in a fact of this will cost you X amount of dollars, or, however they're going to see your point of view on security. That's really what we have to learn to do. And I think those of us that are very technical sometimes lose that ability to talk to leadership.
Hi, actually, do I get the right? Oh, I just realized my speakers I'm not on the right speaker even, so the quality's not right. I'll have to fix this. Hi, Alyssa.
Hi, have you seen Trevor?
Yeah, he came by earlier.
Where is he?
Well, he went back downstairs, but we're live right now.
Oh, hi.
Hi, Alyssa.
How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are y'all doing?
We're great.
Oh, nice. What's going on?
What's going on, gentlemen?
Am I interrupting? I'm sorry.
Not at all.
Oh, no, you can stay. So we're talking cyber awareness and actually talking to business leadership right now.
Ooh.
And how we can make security a priority for business, whether that's talking money or talking how you make it to where you can get through to leadership, how important cyber awareness and cybersecurity as a whole is.
I mean, yeah. Have you screen tested them?
What does that mean? Screen tested them?
No, screen tested. Just like do something to make them like, oh no, this went wrong. Like,
oh, so have we shut down a server for no reason?
I wouldn't say no reason. I don't know, but nothing gets through like the user experience and actually going through and experiencing what is it like for there to go, I don't know, have something like that happen. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. And that's one of the things. So how do we, and you have to worry about that, right? So a lot of times we say companies aren't going to pay attention until something happens.
Yes.
Like they're not going to fix anything until they're hit with ransomware. And even then, okay, now we'll divert 10% of, IT's budget to cybersecurity. Like they're going to pick from something else that they're like, well, we shouldn't care about this. It's not operational. So we're going to go here. So we're going to move money over to here. And it's one of those things where you look at and you're like, but we need that too. So how about you take
how do you do the user experience? Do you do tabletops for the users? Because always you do the tabletops, it's for the IT people. In the DoD or in other organizations, they
Yeah.
don't do the tabletops for the users.
Right. Yeah. So I think it's really cool. Like, so like we do agile software development. So to have like a persona of like an evil persona as well. So you can like do some like evil user stories sometimes and just like think of it so that and maybe have some like acceptance criteria. So and just like, I don't know, talk to the user. It's a weird idea.
Tabletops I find work great. And then with respect to the users, this is something I created a year and a half ago, was a blue team choose your own adventure. And I found it's really good for the users to get an understanding of what happens in an incident. And the advantage of the choose your own adventure is there's already pre-scripted actions. So they don't have to be technical, right? I'm not asking them to do incident response and forensics. I'm asking them to go through the response with that kind of technical thing already being done there and understanding the implications with respect to an unfolding incident and breach.
Nice.
And
Unfolding. I'm going to unfold myself out of here.
What's your Twitter handle?
It's _A_Lisa. Because it's a Lisa.
it's a Lisa.
It's a Lisa. Yeah.
So _A_Lisa.
No,
Yes.
it's _A_Lisa.
Yes. Bye, y'all.
So yeah, I mean it is, and I love tabletops. I do. We actually did a few recently for a client of ours, and I think they go a long way. I really do, because they get an understanding of what they're missing. What I find hard with tabletops is when companies don't realize you need everybody involved that's going to be involved with a breach. So if something happens, I want your IT team there. I want your legal team there, especially if it's ransomware. I want, anybody involved in the IR process there. And I want security there, especially. So when they don't bring everybody, or it's like, oh, I had another meeting, then you're missing something. You're missing a piece of the puzzle that could really, fill in the blanks of certain things. But it helps you find where their weak points are.
Absolutely. And so the technical evolution of that I see is purple teaming, right? So we're doing tabletops to easily educate at a high level of, as you noted, where those gaps. Wait, why isn't that person around the table? We forgot that there might be a PR aspect to customer impact, right? Thinking through those things. Backdoors and breaches, which just was noted on there, is a fantastic thing developed by the John Strand team at Black Hills Information Systems, BHIS. Highly encourage that. If you want to see some cool videos, Ian Meyer, who helps run B-Sides Orlando, does some backdoors and breaches, like, I guess, DMing, where he dungeon masters it. So those are cool. But that's on the technical side. Then we have that same thing for the security staff. So this is the thing that frustrates me also. I guess I get frustrated by a lot of things. That's why I try to do a lot, is we forget the people aspect, which is the entire reason that security and training is brought up here. But we also forget the people aspect of the security teams themselves. And that's why I like purple teaming, because it's almost like a technical tabletop where we're going to bring a predetermined threat together with specific actions. So tying that back into military parlance, I'm going to the National Training Center and I've dialed up explicitly what I want the OpForce capabilities to be and to do, right? You're going to be a Russian tank brigade. You're going to come from that. Based on these things, you're going to do those things. And we're going to repeatedly train how to respond to that. And we're going to do that together. So for the blue teamers, this is typically their first chance to get a peek behind the offensive side, which in the past was a black box that just showed up and said, here's a large report with a lot of work. See you later. Good luck, right? Fuck that. Instead, you're doing it together. So the short answer to a purple team is it's a collaborative, milestone-driven exercise with mutually agreed objectives.
Yep, and I agree. And purple team is something that, unfortunately, a lot of companies still can't necessarily get to. Let's be honest. Companies can barely handle a vulnerability assessment. Sometimes, you tell them you're going to run Nessus on all their boxes, and they're like, "Holy shit! Can you please exclude all these IPs?" And you're like, "Why?" And you're like, "Because they can't handle a scan." So how are they going to handle somebody actually breaking into your system? Like, if you're really worried about somebody scanning your system, how can you effectively handle a breach? So, things like that bother me. And they'll continue to bother me because there's always going to be organizations out there like that. But as far as Purple Team goes, like, I think that is really what we need to strive for, because then a red team can come in, a true red team, somebody that knows exactly what they're doing, knows what processes are going to be injected or whatever's going on, and can say, hey, look, from a blue team side, whether you're looking at a SIM or some other type of monitoring or logging or whatever, you should see this, this, and this. Do you see it? No. We know we have a weak point. We know you have a point that you need to fix, because I am telling you what you should see and you're not seeing it. Instead of, like you said, you have a pen tester or even a red team come in, do a bunch of things, say, hey, we found all these vulnerabilities. We got in all these different ways. Here you go. Here's the report. Go fix it.
Yeah, so there's a question that just came in chat here about how many org can actually run these kinds of simulations, and that's the challenge. I mean, the National Training Center is a significant investment, and it's the same thing for any organization. But this ties to, this is a good way to speak the language of the business and also demonstrate it. So being able to take a business context that is limited and then apply a threat to it. And it's like, okay, great, Bryson, we don't have the money to go hire a red team. We don't have a red team. How do we get started? And so the easiest way that I always recommend, MITRE Attack has a website where they list all the threats. Go to there and just search for your industry. And just with a text search off that web page, and I can post it in the chat or post it for the link later, you will immediately find the specific threats with exactly how they do their things listed there. And then a collaborative community effort that I did with George Urchias and Adam Ashinchi, who's over at Red Canary, is the C2 Matrix, where we listed out how you can automatically do all of those things, including free tools that do it for you. Well, hello, Caitlin.
Hi, I brought pizza for everybody.
Oh,
did you bring me pizza, Caitlin? Yes.
What kind of pizza did you bring up, or did you just bring an empty box?
I brought them in the empty box.
It's training. See,
John ate it all. So
John ate it all. Of course.
She's a liar. She said he brought pizza.
I know.
Sorry about that. So, Caitlin, who are you?
Hi, I'm Caitlin DeValk. I am actually active duty military with the Coast Guard, and I work in cybersecurity.
You're an officer, aren't
military
you?
And Coast Guard
I am.
Officer, boom.
Hold up. She said military and Coast Guard in the same sentence. That does not compute. Does not compute.
So the Coast Guard.
West Point?
That's West Point. So the Coast Guard is actually really cool when it comes to cyber. I don't know if I should brag on your behalf. If you can pick this up. Go for it. Why is the Coast Guard so cool when it comes to cyber? Unique of all the services.
So it's kind of cool because we obviously work under DHS. So we're kind of privy to a lot of like the CISA DHS stuff that goes on, but we also work with DoD in the same. So cybersecurity is kind of the weird part where we still report to DoD and DHS in cybersecurity specifically. So it's kind of weird.
That's awesome.
And the maritime security standards,
Yes.
which is something that is sorely needed in the world right now.
So what are your thoughts on security awareness training?
Oh, you mean like the mandated one we have to take every year? Jeff. I think that it's necessary, but I don't think anybody actually does the one that we have currently. I mean, I don't know. I'm definitely someone that just clicks through all the buttons.
Did you know about the SQLI that was in it?
No, I didn't. I hadn't heard that one. That's funny though.
So up in the URL, it
Yeah.
had the SQL code.
Like, yeah.
False. If you just put true all the way across, it's a you to the test.
So yeah, I think it's necessary. I think you have to have like security awareness training for obviously like the broad population, but I don't know. It needs to be different because like I literally take the same one in every single classification, so it's just like a rinse repeat every single year.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And what's your Twitter handle?
Oh my god, it's my name. It's Kate. I think it's Caitlin_DeValk. And then where there's underscores before, it's my exact name.
All right, let me find it. Hold on.
They'll figure it out.
Thanks, Bryson.
Now I'm hungry for pizza.
I got it. It was her. No, not that one. Definitely not that one. At least I don't think it's that. Why can't I find it? We'll have to find it. Bryson, you'll have to send it to me.
I will.
All right. Because I'm going to put them all in the description after the fact. So send them all in private chat. We'll put them all in the description. That way people can follow them.
Yeah. So I also owe you the link to the MITRE ATT&CK threat group's site, which is the easy way to do threat modeling just by doing an industry search for what you got. And then, like I said, the C2 matrix allows you to find free tools to be able to emulate any of those things. And then in collaboration with SANS, we created the Slingshot distro. So you have a Linux distro that already has a number of those free tools built in for free off the SANS website so that you can go and do this stuff on your own. One caveat I will give you, test in the lab first before you go and test in production.
So you're talking about MITRE Navigator, I believe is what you're talking about.
No, not Navigator. Navigator is what you're going to use to be able to package the specific TTPs to building up an emulation campaign. Here they have a threat intelligence page that is just an easy way to be able to like, well, where do I even start, right? Before I even get to Navigator and start like trying to throw together what my Russian brigade's going to do, how do I even like create the brigade and understand what to tell it to do, right? That's
okay. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I know a lot about the Navigator. I went to a conference probably a year or two ago, and they talked about Navigator when they were first coming out with it. So I did not know about the one you were talking about. So yeah, send me all those links. I'll put them in the description. But so moving on, because security awareness is one thing, and it's very hard to reach people. The human element is always going to be an issue. There's no way around it. And again, until we bring in-person training as a concept to companies and make it to where we get rid of sitting behind a computer for however long it takes to run a cyber awareness program, I don't think people are ever going to feel comfortable really doing one of those trainings or talking to their help desk and being like, hey, I accidentally clicked the link. Like, I think if there was someone outside the organization in person there talking to them about it, they'd feel more comfortable asking questions and actually getting answers versus talking to the organization themselves, because then they don't feel stupid. But I want to talk more about, because, we're talking about organizations. There is a big thing that was mentioned on one of my earlier episodes, and I can't remember how far back it goes, but I believe Alyssa Miller talked about it. And that is your security champions program that you're talking about and how we build those. So again, Alyssa Miller brought it up for her organization and what she's doing. How are you looking at implementing security champions programs in other organizations and with what Scyth is doing?
Sure. So that has nothing to do with what Scyth does. This is just a good best practice, right? We are outnumbered. We are the few. We are the proud. We're not the fucking Marines.
Yes.
Right. Where we are inherently in the mission or the organization's priority makes us the few. And when you look at what we have to do, we're specialized to be able to do that, right? Most people don't understand what we're doing. So why go it alone? Just like when you're trying to fight a counterinsurgents, let's go take a village at a time. So the best way to do that is to get an elder in each village who can speak on your behalf. That's a security champions program. We're going to get folks that have nothing to do with IT and security to be trained up to some degree to speak and advocate on our behalf. That's security advocacy. So this is, again, just going to, this isn't a tool thing, right? I'm not selling you anything. I'm just giving you a better way to, one, how to talk to your management to get better buy-in to what you're doing, and two, how to make your life easier because your users have folks organic to their group who are going to be on your side.
Yeah, and that's true. And it really comes down to, one of the problems I think security has always had is we like to say no. And so it makes it hard. Whereas if you have a security champion, if you have people within your different areas of expertise, whether it be finance, HR, IT, wherever it may be, DevOps, if you have a security person there that's willing to talk to you and explain the risks and what's going on, then you're not going to say no. You're going to go through and do different things. You're going to enable the business while at the same time explaining what the risks are to what you're doing. And this goes to something I saw earlier this week about shadow IT, where you have programs and IT things going on that you don't know about in security, because guess what? You've always been known to say no. You say no, 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 no. No, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. No, you can't stand up this application. No, you can't, deploy that. But you never say why. You never give them a chance to mitigate risks or anything like that. So I think a security champions program within organizations and within the different sectors definitely helps, because then those people know security, but they know that business function as well.
You can put one on.
Oh, hey, Bryson.
You're welcome to. So, we were talking.
We got someone new?
We were talking earlier about how to somebody who can reach people. I feel like one of the best in the business is John Hammond.
Hey,
Holy crap, John Hammond. John,
how's it going, everybody?
Here I just asked when you're going to be on my show, and here you are.
We made it happen. That's what we do.
That's what I'm talking about.
How's it going, everybody? I didn't mean to come crash the party. I know I'm kind of cramping your style here.
You didn't bring pizza. Caitlin brought pizza.
Oh,
Well, she said she brought pizza. She brought an empty box.
I ate the whole thing. That's kind of my fault.
She was fishing me with pizza. Oh, she blamed you, actually.
Did she?
Yes,
Perfect.
she did.
Perfect.
All the pineapple is gone.
Yep.
So, what are your
Hey,
thoughts
your shirt
on
matches the flag, John. Your shirt
What's that?
matches the flag.
Oh, the shirt and all?
Oh,
It matches.
Perfect.
so what are your thoughts on security awareness training?
Ooh, security awareness training. I feel like a lot of it has probably already been said since I'm kind of coming in late. But I think there is room for improvement, right? As kind of maybe the polite way to put it. Maybe. I mean, depending on how it's done, I think a lot of different like venues or vehicles to actually do the training can kind of put someone to sleep sometimes, so I mean, whatever we can do to make that a little bit more engaging or gamify it in a weird way, done in the right way. Obviously there are a couple that we could try to name that just don't hit the mark, don't scratch the right itch there. So there are probably better ways to go about it if we do.
Yeah, and John, we were talking about it, and I agree. Gamified training can definitely be better. Those that have been in DoD knows that their gamified training is horrendous. And we see Jeff every year. Thank God I don't got to do that anymore. But to the point of making it better, what is your take? And I got to get, because I always try to, when we talk about this, get people's opinions. What is your take on in-person cyber awareness training?
Ooh.
So having someone actually come to the organization and walk through how to find and notice fake email addresses or fake links or things of that nature.
So I think, in my opinion, there is more value in that, in doing it in person, than there is in the virtual delivery, in my opinion. And again, that has a whole lot of asterisks and disclaimers, because in the virtual world, it's really easy to kind of be completely distracted. You might be tuning into something while you're making breakfast or trying to fold the laundry, or something could completely distract you and you just aren't even with it at all with virtual delivery. Doing it in person, then it's a little bit more mandated, which can suck. It can be much more regimented and really kind of take the life out of it. But you have a bit more opportunity and a bit more wiggle room to, again, make it engaging, make it something that people really want to do and be a part of. I don't want it to be like cringy and awkward, like some weird icebreakers or team building activities. There is a fine balance and a little bit of a tightrope to walk in that. But I would argue in person could very well be better than virtual.
I completely agree. And my point earlier was, when you're looking at organizations, sometimes the people are less willing to talk to the help desk or IT and ask questions and be like, hey, what about this, that, or the third? Because they don't want to look stupid, because it's within your organization.
Totally.
Whereas when you're talking to a third-party company and reaching out to somebody that happens to be there giving a course, they're a lot more likely, even if it's after the fact, to come up and ask questions and say, hey, what about this, that, or the third? So I think it has a lot more value than clicking the next arrow on a screen or doing whatever Jeff tells you to do.
Absolutely.
So I completely agree.
And I don't mean to I don't want to like take any more limelight here, but I would echo that, and that you really end up making it face to face, like making the real human interaction. Because as you were just discussing, look, if you've got your security point of contact, you know who that person is in the department, on your team, in your own organization. You now know who that is. I think maybe all too often, one of the biggest issues that you might see is, oh, we see something spooky, we see something suspicious, we've got a weird email. Now we don't even know what to do with it or who to send it to because we literally don't know who the person is. So building that face-to-face interaction, absolutely, I'd agree on that even more so.
Yeah, definitely.
Right there should be an add-on to the security awareness is meet the team.
Yeah.
Who are the people that you talk to when you have a problem? So great point.
Yeah. So we do have a question here, and since we have Bryson and John here, we'll let them both kind of look at it. Do you think it's incumbent on security to reach out to other parts of the business throughout the year rather than just in October to hammer home the importance of users' part in security?
Yeah, so that's what I was just talking about with the Security Champions program. Is it's no longer going to be incumbent on you to schedule something. You're going to have advocates that are embedded in natural business operations and those functions who are going to be able to answer those questions, who are going to be able to bubble up to you when there's something that is a potential risk or that's in their area that you would never find until it's too late.
Yeah, I agree. John, anything to add to that?
I feel like I need another quick rundown of the question. Yeah, guys. I was
Hold up, I'll put it back up here. Here you go.
Ooh, do I think it's incumbent on security to reach out to other parts of the business? So, yes, absolutely. I think that's the really easy, short answer to fall on. Truthfully, the onus is on us. The onus is on the security team. The responsibility is there, in my opinion, in that otherwise it's just not going to happen. Otherwise, it just completely falls off the plate. It's not on the agenda unless we force it to be there and make sure that it is, in my opinion. And we still have to kind of integrate it better. We use, obviously right now, October, this month, National Cybersecurity Awareness, as one way where we can scream and shout about this thing. But I'm sure folks have kind of already made that catch where we're saying, why is it just this month? Why aren't we doing this year round? Are we just going to forget about it once this awareness month is over? I'm sure folks have kind of already made that point, but it's absolutely something that needs to be effervescent and always there in the mix of security.
Well, effervescent is the opposite.
Is that it? Oh my goodness. He's the real teacher. Ever present. Maybe that's
ever present. Effervescent is like a buoyant
man.
personality. Ephemeral is temporary.
Goodness.
Evergreen and ever present.
Now I know.
Spelling bee camp.
Oh man, John, it's good having you on here, man. I really didn't expect you to be here.
Cool. Well, hey, I didn't mean to crash the party. I realize I'm just kind of shouting in Bryson's ear. I feel bad.
So one of the best parts about IRL, you can do real high fives.
Yeah, man.
Thanks, brother.
Cool.
There it is.
See you soon, guys.
Good one, John. Bryson, you are a true unicorn. You are a true unicorn, Bryson. I did not expect all these people to show up. I'm loving it. Look, for
I believe I did foreshadow correctly. You just didn't interpret my foreshadowing.
I did. I interpreted. I thought shenanigans. I did not know exactly what your shenanigans were going to be. I thought maybe some costume changes. I wasn't 100% sure. So having this is amazing. Anybody that's listening to this after the fact on podcast, look, you're missing out. Go ahead, head over to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/CyberWarriorStudios, and be sure to watch us live. Then you get to see all these amazing people and actually get to see what they look like.
Look at that. It says
there it is, Bryson.
There.
So we have a lot of unicorns in the house today, and I'm sure Bryson has more. I'm sure he has something up his sleeve. But I love it. And the fact comes down to, whether it be cyber awareness training, reaching out to organizations, or a security champions program, a lot of that comes down to us as security. And I think we as personnel tend to forget that. We like to stay in our own silos and we like to forget about everybody else. And so I think to John's point and to yours, actually getting out there and talking to people and letting them know you are here for them is very, very important. And you muted yourself, Bryson. I don't know if you meant to.
Sorry, yeah, I'm having my mic just got moved out. I'm having mic issues staying in. I've got a new mic and it is being difficult. Yeah, it did that again.
But yeah, so what would we, do you think a lot of the issues, whether it be cyber awareness training, reaching the organization, the security champions program, do you feel a lot of that falls on the security personnel in the organization to go out and actually talk to people and be personable, which I know for a lot of us is hard, but is that really what it's going to take? Because in my eyes, it is, because people aren't going to reach out to you. You have to reach out to them.
Yeah. Why would they come and find you in the dark, dank basement with the thing that they don't even know about? You got to go to them, right? This is, again, the security advocacy. So how do you create security champions? How do you create advocates for you? You have to go to them. You can't volunteer them. You can't volunteer somebody what to do. This is, right, that's the vet approach, right? You know, the sergeant says, you, and you. All right, you're now this. Oh, you got it, sergeant. That doesn't work here, right? We need to find people who already have that little kernel that we just have to fan into a flame. And then from there, it's not just, okay, great, you got extra duties, right? Again, military, we don't want to just continue to punish people for trying to help us. Where can we give them something fun to do? And this goes back to the purple team thing. Imagine you work in HR. Now, hopefully none of us can, because like that's why we work in what we do, because human resources is not what we want to do. But let's imagine we're one of those HR people, right? So let's look at our perspective on them. What do we think they do? I don't know, like federal and state employee compliance and spreadsheets of salaries and performance reviews. Like that's our limitation, right? How cool would it be if you were HR to get to sit in on one of IT's tabletops? How cool would it be to get to be invited to be a part of one of those purple teams, right? They can get 4 hours off to come over and sit with your folks. And to them, that's not punishment. That sounds like fun, right? And when you look at those exercises are actually fun for the IT security folks too. So now you've got an advocate, you're coming up with incentives for them. You're coming up with a way that you're naturally training them that is even fun for what they do. And it's a part of a reward system that they're going to continue to help you throughout the year, going back to that earlier question.
Yeah.
To be part of it instead of being told to be the part of it. So that's what you want.
Yeah, I agree. And it's, you know, and I think we do. So me working for a consultant organization, I think that is something that we need to start talking to clients about, is building security champions in different, you know, areas of the organizations. Because again, without having others there to speak on your behalf and really, you know, giving them someone to reach out to that may not be security, may not be in the basement, you know, they're there with them sitting at their desk. And I see Bryson's face. He has another guest lined up and I really want to know who it is now.
It's not that I have a guest, but it is the culmination of when you spend a time during the entire episode bringing on 4 really awesome friends and folks that all have different perspectives on this. At the end of it, you end up with a slightly drunk, get in the picture.
I'm not drunk yet. I'm working on it.
Team of security champions help you through your episode and your organization.
I'm working on getting drunk. So if any of you are drunk there yet, I'm not there yet. I'm joining you. I still got some more of these, so we're good.
But this is what a security champion program gets you, right? We individually had each of them come in. We worked with them. They're now advocates, and we're all here together operating as a team.
And that's really what it takes. And it is a team, and it's a team effort. And it's always going to be a team effort. And it comes down to reaching out to everybody. John, look, I've been following you for a while. I love you, man. I really do. And the things that you do.
He's all right.
Trevor, Alyssa, and everybody else. look, I ain't gonna lie. Bryson and John are the ones I followed. Alyssa and everybody else, I just started following today. I looked you up and followed you. When you came in here. I ain't gonna lie. You know, I try to find people everywhere, and if you don't come across my feed, I don't see you. So thankfully, you have now been tagged. You've now been followed. And it's good to have you on. And I will have each of you on individually to this show. You will all be on. And
on New Battlefields next week, we have Jorge Orchiles coming to our show.
Quit trying to one up me, Eric, because I got the CEO. I got the CEO, not you.
I got the CTO, the one that actually does the work.
Bryson's gonna kill you, Eric.
It's a team effort, Eric, as you can tell.
But no, it's been great having you all on, and truly, it is a team effort. And look, cybersecurity as a whole is a team, and we are all one family. And I hope we all realize that. And look, I love Bryson's unicorn hoodie. You've got to tell me where you get those because I'm going to buy one. I need one in my life.
Special swag store.
No, we're not available on the Scyth Swag store.
I don't think so.
So there is a Scyth Swag store, swag.scythe.io, with all of the proceeds going to save the chubby unicorns, aka endangered rhinos. However, I have a tailor that custom makes these to specification, and as my team can attest, am I on the right side? No, it's that way. Well, it's mirrored, so that way to over there is all of the other unicorn hoodies and costumes, as evidenced by John attempting to be Cyber Gandalf.
So look, what we're going to need to do.
Trevor, wait, which side? I'm so confused about it because it's mirrored. It's like,
right? So Bryson, in an email, send me all of the links, all of the Twitter handles, all the links for you guys. They're definitely going to go in the description down below. And we still got 13 minutes, so we ain't done yet. So if you guys want to hang out and have a chat, you are more than welcome to stay here because I love having you guys on.
That's up to y'all.
Hey, so what do you?
Y'all are free to get drunk any day.
It's not that kind of.
Oh, not that kind of chat. Okay. Happy Pizza Friday, y'all.
Oh my god.
There you
Soft
go.
Friday.
Have a good one, guys. Oh man, John, you're amazing, and so is Bryson. You're fantastic. John left, unfortunately, but you guys are all amazing. I love having you all on, and it really comes down to, you know, how do we get better as security? Because let's be honest, not a lot of people outside of security are going to watch this show. So within security, how do we get better and how do we reach people? Your security champions program and the things that you talk about are one. But us as individuals, how do we get better and how do we reach those people?
When you say us as individuals.
So the security champions is usually an individual within a
functional area outside of IT.
Right. But us as security personnel, how do we get better? How do we impress upon the importance of security to those select functions if there is no security champions program?
Well, this goes back to why the preface to that was getting leadership buy-in.
Leadership,
right? You running around at lunch and being like, "Have you heard the good word about security?" is not going to go real far, and you're going to sit by yourself at lunch a lot, right? Leadership buy-in and that kind of cross-stakeholder conversation, that's organizational management and politics. You have to get that first. You're not going to go off and be able to start your own program. You can't do that, right? Leadership buy-in is key. And there's the reality that maybe you work at a place that doesn't value that. That tells you something. Don't try so hard because they don't care either.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's stark, but it's true. You're going to save yourself a lot of hair and gray if you do.
This is true. You have to get leadership buy-in, and leadership buy-in is always key. And with that, you know, like I said, a lot of times we have to quantify things, right? You have to make it financially better for them. Why is security important? How is it financially better to be more secure? And so I have a question that kind of doesn't necessarily go along with what we're talking about, but it does at the same time. When I look at making things financially better for an organization, we look at all the policies, the regs that, you know, whether it be PCI or HIPAA or whatever else is out there, right? There's a ton of them that, you know, and some of them have a fine of sorts if you don't abide by that regulation. So how do we make breaches more of a financial burden without worrying about bankrupting a business when things happen because they did the bare minimum? The bare minimum.
So I don't think that's fair to say the bare minimum, right? I think you're using compliance as a pejorative, and compliance is the minimum requirement because that's what is legally required of the business, and hence the starting point, right? I can't function without meeting this regulatory checklist. Right. That's not security. That's now you're a part of the business, right? It can't exist without that. And so there is of course, particularly common on our, you know, the offensive side, that we're going to look down on something that be like, all you're doing is the checklist. And yeah, the checklist is not really security. Fair enough. Going back to convincing leadership that there is value in going beyond the checklist is that starting point. But I don't think it's fair to look down that they see that as that's the necessity of them doing business just with respect to you.
Yeah, I can understand that, and I can get behind that. I think my problem comes in, and I don't know if it's necessarily with the organizations or the auditors or insurance or whatever the case may be. I just think a lot of companies are doing what's required, the minimum required to stay in business. You know what I mean? So without going above and beyond, without trying to be more secure, and it could be because they don't talk to their CISO. They give them that C-level title, but don't treat them like an actual, you know, executive officer. Or you know, they don't talk to their security directors. So is it more us as security having to reach out and quantify why it's important? What are the downsides? What are the pitfalls of not securing your network beyond, hey, you'll be down for an hour or 2 hours or a day or a week, depending on the breach, you know, because this happened. More so, hey, you're going to have to pay out for this, and this. Are they becoming too reliant on insurance to say, well, I pay an insurance vendor, so guess what? I don't care.
Insurance is certainly a risk mitigation that is a part of that leadership strategy. And so that's a key understanding, not just the insurance component, but that your leadership and the core business looks at what we do as one of many risks that they have to consider and decide and prioritize and effectively resource or finance to being able to do it. There's a comment here in the chat about, where was it? Mentioned business loss from clients not having faith in your cybersecurity. Who does not buy a car because of the cybersecurity? I haven't met a single person who has any idea on that topic. And cars are, in fact, have more code complexity than a lot of operating systems that you see in the enterprise environment. The reality is, when we look at a car, which I love this because one of the challenge we have in computers is it's about data, which is abstract. Car is not abstract, right? I'm going to get in and I'm going to feel a car if I buy it. And there's two kinds of customers. I want transportation that gets me from point A to point B, and I want a car that has an emotional appeal.
But do you think that that's going to change when we've got full self-driving and more of the automation on the car, and then you start looking at, is this car safe? Is the safety rating going to be the same as physical safety rating versus security safety rating? Do you think it's going to come to that point? If we look Eric, a little bit further down.
You just led into another problem. We have no objective measure of security. You think NHTSA is going to come up with a cybersecurity rating for cars? They're going to come up with a checklist, and now you're back in the compliance conversation.
Correct.
Hence, there's only going to be two kinds of customers even going forward.
The educated and the uneducated.
Those that want to go from point A to point B, and those that just going to buy that car because it feels good.
So going back to what we were saying about leadership and how we get these leaders to kind of pay attention a little bit more to the security and build this by design, if you will. Are there anything that you could tell our audience, our viewers, how do we educate the leaders of tomorrow so that this becomes the priority that we want, or that they're building a community and a vision of security? Is there anything you would tell those leaders of tomorrow?
Yeah, so this is, I think it's more of the strategic question of how do we stop fishing in the same pond, and how do we create a larger body of water, aka more knowledge and more people with more of that knowledge that show up. And again, where I was talking earlier about the chances are most of your leadership is not steeped in this understanding, right? And this ties to what Keenan just said here, which is the fact that we're operating in a macro ecosystem. So, right, we're talking about our individual organization, mission, or company. But that functions in a system of systems that is on a international geopolitical scale, right? What has been the biggest thing of the past year that concerns businesses? Ransomware. Why? Because there is a geopolitical actor, Russia, who has taken advantage of the financial system, aka cryptocurrencies, to support the economic utility for criminals to operate and cause damage and chaos to the United States. That's the macro ecosystem. We're not even talking about cybersecurity anymore. We're back to what we used to do when we were all active duty, which is go punch those fuckers in their face so they don't even press the button on the keyboard to even consider that to begin with.
Yep.
And we need to start working together. It doesn't matter if you're company A or company B, because now these threats are coming from, everywhere. And if we don't share the information, we're all in the same pond, and we're trying to protect our little piece of the water.
And that's the end of it, right? We as a community, and I've noticed, and Bryson, you can attest to it. You've seen it on Twitter and everywhere else. Little by little, we're starting to come together. We're starting to become more one and share information and share breaches and share, the information that's out there. But I still think collectively as a whole, we still have people afraid to do that, or just don't want to do that. And whatever the reason may be, whether it's pride or ego or gatekeeping or whatever you want to call it, for some reason, we still are not sharing information completely, which is what we have to get towards, to where as a cybersecurity family, which is what I like to consider us, we have to talk to each other. We have to understand what is going on in our realm and in our sphere so that we can help each other. And for those that don't want to help, GTFO, get the fuck out. And that's it. Like, go be a black hat, go do whatever you want to do. If you're not willing to share information, why the fuck are you here?
I'd like to think we're a family, but I think we're more a collection of tribes.
I can get behind that. I I understand that too. We are. And
occasionally we go to war.
This is true. Blue versus red versus GRC. It all happens. But look, it's been awesome having you on, Bryson, and please stay on after. Me and you will talk more with Eric. But look, at the end of the day, if you're listening to this on a podcast, you're missing out on a whole lot of awesome conversation and a lot of good information. Make sure you follow us on YouTube and subscribe, like, comment, whatever. If you're watching this after the fact and you have not liked, subscribe, and comment, you should probably do so now. Other than that, CyberWarriorStudios.com is where you can find all the ways to buy merchandise and support Cyber Warrior Studios. RaícesCyber.org. And here in the banner, I'm going to put it up now for you guys. You You really need to take a look at it. RaisisCyber.org, nonprofit organization, 501.3c. You really need to take a look at them and all the amazing things they're doing. If you haven't seen New Battlefields, please go check out Eric Bilardo's
It was
Cyber.
requested there.
Dancing Granny, gotta have it. Bryson, thank you so much. Thank you for bringing everybody on. And again, please send me an email with all the contact info and all the links you want me to share. I'll put them in the description down below. Other than that, look, it's been great having everybody on. I love you all. I love this community. And I think we have so much more growing to do. So please, if you need something, reach out to anybody. We will help you. I guarantee it. Whether it's me, Eric, Bryson, or anybody else in the community that you find. If they're not willing to help you, come talk to me. I'll help you out. Other than that, look, take care. Have a fantastic weekend. And I will see you all next time.